Libra season marks the beginning of autumn in the northern hemisphere. This is when the natural world has reached its full maturity and harvest is a predominant theme. In areas of the world where there are noticeable seasonal changes, Libra season is often considered to be one of the most beautiful times of year. All the leaves change into very vibrant colors, and foliage is at its peak aesthetic phase. This also tends to be a very mild and temperate time of year, where it's usually not bitterly cold or super hot. Libra embodies the beauty and the pleasant, balanced nature of this season. Part of their hospitable manner also comes from the fact that Libra is ruled by the gentle and benevolent planet Venus. If you'd like to learn more about Libra's connection with Venus, you can check out my other video titled Libra, Your Planet, which is linked in the description. Libra is the sign of balance, and some of the reason for that is because this season is about the balance struck by nature. The day when the sun, as it travels through the zodiac, moves into the sign of Libra is the autumn equinox, and this is the midpoint of the astrological year. Our secular New Year in the West is, of course, January 1st, but for at least 2 millennia now, astrologers have been marking the beginning of the year on the spring equinox. And so Libra season is halfway between the beginning and the next beginning, because of course this is a cyclical pattern, so there is no end. Libra's unique position at this time of year gives them an equidistant view of what has already been and what will be. And that perspective gives this sign a very measured approach to decision making, to social interactions, and to life in general. They've got a very even-minded temperament and a special insight where they're able to see both sides of every coin. This is a very wise and patient sign. They take their time and they think about it before they make any definitive judgments. For the ancient cultures that originally developed these seasonal associations with astrology, our modern technology used to produce and store food didn't exist. They weren't able to grow as much food, and whatever they were able to harvest needed to last until the next spring. 2,000 years ago, there were no chemical fertilizers, preservatives, refrigeration technology, or global trade to the degree that we experience it now. Most people today can get tropical fruits at a store all year round, even if they live in a place where it's freezing cold during the winter. But for ancient astrologers, whatever their community grew during the spring and summer was often all they would get until the next growing season. So the period during Libra season would have been when the harvests had been collected and accounted for, and it was now time to decide how to fairly distribute it among the community. And this really gets to the heart of why Libra is so concerned with fairness, justice, and equality, and applying those things to the judgments and decisions that they make. Because if you were living in an ancient community and you were tasked with making this kind of decision about how much food to allot to each individual, that would be a pretty serious responsibility with life or death consequences. Libras are born with that inherent concern and consideration for others. So there's a nobility there, a sense of honor and trustworthiness, where Libra is aware of their power as a decision maker and they take that seriously. They want to do the right thing and not make any rash or snap judgments. This is such a beautifully compassionate sign. They want everyone to have what they need. Libra works really hard to create that level playing field in all of their interactions and all of the circumstances they find themselves in. But of course, this time of year is not all about serious decisions. Pretty much every culture, ancient and modern, celebrates their harvest season with some kind of feasting, gatherings, parties. And this evokes Libra's social, more lighthearted side. They are delightfully charming and witty, and they often act as the social glue that brings everyone together. If we think about how autumn is the season when we start to cuddle up by the fire and spend more time closer indoors with our loved ones. In spring and summer, everyone kind of disperses in their own direction outside, and that evokes individualistic kind of energies, whereas autumn gathers everyone back in together and there's more of a collective spirit. Some key words that describe the autumnal season are culmination, transformation, evolution, consolidation, fusion, uniting, gathering, merging, amalgamating, coalescing, distilling, refining, and purifying. This season can be symbolized in terms of the human life cycle as the high point of adulthood, when a person is in their 40s. We might colloquially call this middle age. It's the point in life where we reach a sort of pinnacle. We've done all the growing up we can do, and now we get to rest on our laurels a bit and enjoy the height of our maturity before the waning phase of life begins. If you think about people at this age, it's the energy of sagacity and experience. You've ascended to a level of maturity where you develop a sort of serenity. You're no longer at the mercy of youthful, impulsive whims and flights of fancy. You've learned over time what's really important in life, and you focus your energy on those things. There's a refinement and a tactfulness and a patience that's developed, a Zen type of wisdom. Libra has this inborn equilibrium that makes them very cool under pressure or when they have to navigate delicate situations. And it's partly derived from the energy of this season, which imparts that factor of maturity and moderation. Much as Libra season is the midpoint of the year, this age range is the typical midpoint of human life. And this gives Libra an equal understanding of both the past and the future. They're at a karmic stage of having gained insight and sophistication with their understanding of the past, and they now possess the poise to apply it to their lives going forward in the most judicious possible way. Ultimately, this all leads to a profound sense of enlightenment in this sign. Thank you so much for listening, Libra. Leave a like if you enjoyed this, comment if you have any questions, share this with your friends or other Libras in your life, and please subscribe. I would be so happy to have you with me. One last thing I'll mention is that this is based on traditional Hellenistic astrology, developed over 2,000 years ago by the ancient Greeks and Romans with significant contributions from the Egyptians, Babylonians, Persians, and various other cultures in the surrounding areas of North Africa, South Asia, and the Arabian Peninsula. Since all of these places are situated above the equator, the seasonal associations with zodiac signs are from a northern hemisphere perspective. So a common question is, if I was born a Libra in the southern hemisphere, does that mean I should pay more attention to the seasonal symbology of spring since the seasons are opposite? The short answer is no. The original meanings apply to everyone, regardless of where on the planet you were born. The long answer is a little bit more interesting. If you are seeking a deeper understanding of your sign, then it's important to know that astrology is a vastly complex symbolic language which employs the natural principle of duality. In this context, that means spring and autumn are two sides of the same coin, and I would absolutely encourage everyone to explore a little bit about the sign which is 180 degrees opposite to your own in the zodiacal wheel. In a way, this can be like holding up a sort of mirror or a negative of a photograph, an inverted image of yourself. By understanding our opposite, we can often gain a deeper understanding of our own soul. Libra is opposite to the sign Aries, and I will leave a link to the Aries seasonal video in the description if you want to check that out.